All right. Now we're live.
Oh, transition.
Ooh, nice.
Want to say hi to the stream?
Hello, stream.
Hi, stream.
Y'all better be watching.
Indeed. Okay. Get you guys off there. All right. Okay, so the plan today is I want to see how far we can get. I want to try and finish the lobby, but that might be asking too much. But we can try, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Let's see. You can stop sharing your screen, Satch, and then I'll put you on here.
Done.
Nice. Excellent. All right. Okay, so yeah, let's recap where we were at. We had our poker working. We can make it so that we can log in. So you can go, you can type your name, click create game, and then you get a game code. And if you go to here and list the games, we can see that the game code is here along with the game ID. Now what I want to do next is partition the code up a little bit so that when you're here and you refresh the page, it doesn't come back to this, right? It should keep you in the game lobby and we should see who has joined. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the structure of our URL. So right now we have this URL localhost 3000, and I'm going to say that when you have joined the lobby, then you'll end up in a directory like this, maybe lobby slash either, I don't know, it could be lobby. We can name it what we want, but something like lobby and then the game ID like this. And so we'll be able to extract the game ID from the URL. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's start. Let's do that. So the cool thing is it's pretty simple to do. So here's our app, and we're using React Router. And React Router lets us have these routes to various pages. And what we want is a special route to the lobby. So right now we have we have another one called lobby already. We might want to rename it because this is sort of to create a game or join a game, and then once you've done those things, you can go to end up in the lobby while you wait for the game to start, right? Hey Mitt, welcome aboard.
Hemit.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. Make sense? So let me show you guys how to do that. So we have this is React Router here. Sorry, is there a question?
So right now we're making like these. Right now we're making like the routes in which would normally transfer to the URL. So like if we were going to like a certain page and then the sub page in that.
Correct. Yes. So right now, if you go to the main page here, this is what you get, right? Once you've joined a game, it should drop you into the lobby, and we'll represent the lobby with a separate URL, if that makes sense. So there's a number of ways that we can name it. I'm just going to go with this. I'm just going to say route path, and then we'll have, I don't know, let's go with the word games or game. Yeah. And then we'll have game ID. Something like this. Or, I don't know. Because it's the lobby, let's use the word lobby.
So at this point, you can use JavaScript to pull variables from another game.
You can't. No, not yet. Let me explain what this is doing. So you got the route. If you go to lobby, then game ID will have a value that is represented by whatever is in the URL. So I'm going to show you what that means. Let's create a page for our lobby, the waiting lobby in this case. So we'll just call it, because once you've joined the game, you're basically waiting for everyone to join, right? That's what this real lobby is. So we have multiple lobbies basically. One lobby where one is the main page where when you land there, you create or join.
We call it like home or something.
You want to do that? Let's do that. Let's call it home.
Home's nice. Home's a nice word.
Let's rename a few things so that we can use lobby for another thing. So we'll just right click on this, refactor. Oh, it doesn't let me. I was hoping I could rename. Can I let me try something. Rename symbol. Oh, okay, it does let me. So what did you want to call it? Home?
This home is home. I think home's good.
Home's good. All right. That worked, I think. Let's see if everything's still working. Looks like it to me. Now we also want to rename the file. So let's do that. Rename.
So, oh, wow.
Wait, is there a way to rename? Maybe I can rename it here. Rename home. Hey, yes. Yes, things just worked. Yeah, that's so great.
Oh, nice. So in the event where, like, say, other JavaScript pages were importing from lobby, would it also change the import for the other?
So what we just did there, we renamed two things. One, we renamed the function. So here's a file called home. This file used to be called lobby, and we renamed it to home.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting. Export default function lobby. Let's rename this to home. Okay. All right. Node. Okay. So there was a number of things that we wanted to rename. One thing we wanted to rename was what we were importing from the file, and the other was the file itself. Right? So we renamed the file home, the file from lobby to home, and then we renamed this function that we're importing to home as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So now we can easily add a new file for our actual lobby. And let's make this thing what this thing is going to do is maybe a little bit of what the home does. So we can copy most of home and then delete what we don't need. That's usually easiest thing, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, so let's go. So we don't need to be able to create a game or handle any changes because all we're going to do is display the game code. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So we're just doing this piece here where we show the user's picture and the game code. So let's delete all this other stuff. And we don't need this return statement. And we don't even need to check if there's a game code anymore because there will be a game code by definition. Right? So this is the remainder of our code. Delete this. We don't even need to use state. We don't need to use auth. So there's our...
A lot of stuff happened.
Oh, did I go too fast?
Well, it's you're essentially refactoring for less troubleshooting. It's more for under the assumption that it works, right?
Yeah, so we don't know if it works yet. We will check.
Yeah.
But the best, this was the code I was going to write, but the thing is, I already know this code already exists, right? What I'm trying to do is extract this piece, right? I'm trying to get out the piece that just shows the game code, because that's all that matters once you've joined the lobby, that you can see the game code and that you could tell your friends to join it and that you can see your friends join. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the rest of this stuff doesn't matter because the rest of this stuff is part of the joining, the home page, essentially. All right. So game code is here. Next thing we need to do, so here's our lobby. We now need to wire up the lobby so that we can get to it. And we also need to be able to get the game code, right? So right now game code doesn't have any value, but we can do this. We can say const game code equals ABCD, yeah? And we can go to our app and we can wire up the lobby like this. So we'll just have a URL here and we'll say lobby : game ID. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in poker, we can go here to /lobby/ game ID. Well, we can type whatever we want here. Let's type in WXYZ. Yeah? And this does nothing because currently I didn't I didn't fix this piece here. I also need to say which thing to import. So I want lobby. So we just need to say import lobby from lobby. And let's call this lobby now. All right. Save all the things. Okay. Beautiful. See that? All right. So where we're at now is we have the game lobby, and then we have the game code down here. This is hard-coded right now. What we want it to do is show the actual game code as it is from the server, right? So I'll show you guys a way that we can do that. But for now, let's make it so that we have the game ID as well. I want to be able to see the game ID. So we'll have game code and game ID. Const game ID is equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have our game ID and we have our game code. So far, so good? Yeah, okay, so let me just quickly remind you. So remember, game ID is this crazy thing, and game code is this thing, right?
Okay.
And what we want in our poker game is the game ID will go up here. This is how you can have a unique URL for every game that ever existed.
Ooh.
And the game code is a temporary 4-digit thing that will let people join a given game ID. Right? All right. So we've got these pieces. Now, what we want to do is whatever we put up here for the game ID, we want it to display it here. Right? So that we can make sure that this stuff is working. So the way to do that is with something in React Router. Let me see. So here it is. This is how you do it. So there's a use params. This is a function that's also part of the router. The thing that allows us to basically create URLs is also the same thing that allows us to extract variables from the URLs. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So let's grab a parameter. So we'll just come back over here into our lobby, paste. And the thing we want to extract here is the game ID. So if we extract the game ID like this, then okay, then that should do it actually. Let's see if that works. Okay, stuff looks broken. Let's find out why. Use params is not defined. That's because we need to import it from React Router. Save. All right. There it is. How's that, you guys?
That's crazy.
So now anything we type up here, ABC, will show up in the game ID down here. Make sense?
Uh-huh.
All right. Great. So now we're ready to wire the whole thing up. So if we go to home, when we finish getting our game code or joining a game code, we'll be able to extract the game ID and take the user to the appropriate lobby. Right? So let's do that. So we'll head over to our home and let's see where it's done. So this is where we get the game code, right? As well as the game ID. The payload contains both the game code and the game ID, right? If you recall. So like if we, let's just try it out again and I'll show you. So when you create game, here is where line 31 and line 45 is where we log the information from the server, right? So we got back a game code and we got back a game ID, right? So what we need to do now is send the user to /lobby/ this game ID. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
So that's what line 45 is saying?
Line 45 here, what it's saying is to print it out in the console down here.
And line 31 is saying the same thing for the game code.
So this one here is what gets executed when you create a game, and this is what gets executed when you join a game. So actually, this line 45 has nothing to do with this. Sorry, that was confusing. Line 31 is doing the work here right now.
Okay.
And if you join a game using the other button, then you'll get the same output, but it's printed by line 45 instead.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, yes.
Nice. Okay, so now we need to redirect the user. So how do we do that? I often forget this stuff. Let's just see. Let's see. I'm going to just do a Google search.
Search it.
Yeah, React router, redirect, redirect on button click, redirect programmatically. That's what I want. Let's see if that does the trick. Programmatically navigate. Okay, use history. Got it. That's what I need. I need to be able to use my history. Let's do it. So we'll just say const history equals use history. All right. And then you do history.push. Okay, so what we'll say here is history.push, and then we need to redirect the user to /lobby/ the game ID. Oh, I think I need backticks to make it interpolate some strings for me. So the game ID, let's head back to poker here, is the payload game ID, right? So we write this like this, payload game ID. And I believe this will work here as well. So let's save it. So now, when we type our name and then click create game, check it out. So we're in the lobby now, and we have our game ID, but we also need to get our game code, right?
You want the game code in the URL too?
I don't. I do not actually want that.
It's secrets.
The reason I don't want that is because it doesn't last forever. It's a very temporary. So URLs should sort of last a long time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It won't always, but in my case, I want the game ID to not be part of the URL. There are other ways to pass the data around, though. We don't have to pass it via the URL, But you know what's even simpler than trying to pass the data around? We can just ask the server again. There's nothing wrong with that. The server, internet's fast. We can just say, give me the game code for this game ID. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably the easier way right now to do it. Then we don't have to worry about maintaining state and all this other information. Like, the only state that I want to keep track of on the client side is which game you're part of, if that makes sense. So let's quickly do that. So we have our game. We have these games here. We have get API games. And when you do that, it will list all the games like this. Right? And I've just been creating game after game after game. So they're starting to pile up.
So, sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
So when it comes down to the lobby, and correct me, because I think I'm wrong, but like in terms of just bringing the URL into the page itself, isn't that also like an example of like a hard code versus like trying to pull from a particular space?
You mean this piece up here?
Yeah, like yeah, if you go to the poker lobby and then it has that code there.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, like isn't that an example of a hard code? Or is it just making it less work because really there's no real need for you to pull from anywhere else?
I'm not sure. Try the question again. I'm not sure I fully understand.
So it's coded to like replicate the game ID just back onto the page. So like it's just grabbing the address and then pulling it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I was just showing you that. It's not necessary.
Oh, okay.
I was just showing you that we have access to that information, but we don't need it.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, so like when it comes down to the actual lobby itself, it's not like we would see that code.
No.
Just shared on the screen. It's just there to show that that's going to be the URL, but that's also the game ID.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just showing that I can grab the value. Now we're going to grab the actual game code, and we'll make the request to the server. So this gives us an opportunity to create another useful API, which we were going to need anyway. So this is a good opportunity to build it. So we have this API for get games, where this one here lists the games, but now we want to get one for a specific game. And in this case here, we're saying get the game for a specific game ID. Does that make sense? I think you'll understand where we're going very soon. When you make a call to get game, you're not just getting the game code. You're going to get everything that's part of this game, including who's playing and what your cards are and so on, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. We're eventually going to get to that point. Right now, all it's going to do is return the game code, but eventually it's going to return a lot more.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So here's what we're building. We're building get game. And the way this works is going to be /games/ the game ID. And I've forgotten how to do that. So let's look it up real fast. Fast API get request parameter. Is it parameter? I don't think it's parameter. Not query parameters. It's similar to a query parameter, but really it's an argument. See, like there's a couple ways we could build the URL. One is like this, items/ question mark, and then you can put arguments like this. But the way I want to actually do it is more like items/ item ID, and then it knows to there, like this. Here we go. That's exactly what I want.
Oh.
So we want this to be the game ID. And then right here, we can say get game ID, which is of type string. And this still depends on user. You need to be logged in order to use this. So I'm just going to copy. So this is the thing that makes sure that people are logged in. Next. Now, if everything's good, then what we'll do is for this game ID, we need to return the game itself that's associated with that game ID. And the way we do that is pulling it out of games. So if you recall, games is this piece here. See it here?
Mm-hmm.
And the key is right here. So all we have to do is say return games of the game ID. It's beautiful, isn't it? Now we'll have to. This is not the final code. This is what we're gonna do. Oh, we have a new viewer, Aorius. Hello, Aorius.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie.
That is Charlie. Richard
Charles.
Welcome. I'm really happy to have a person I don't know on the stream for the very first time.
Yay!
Yay.
Welcome, Charlie.
Charlie bit me.
Oh, Charlie.
Okay. All right. So let's give this a try, yeah? So here is our games, and we're going to try and use this API now, yeah? So we can refresh the page. And I am going to need my authorization code. So I'll just grab it from here. Session storage dot auth is always an easy way to do this. There's my access token. Grab. Well, thanks, Charlie. That's some high praise, I think. So we authorize. There's our code, and let's see if we can get this piece here to work. Get API games, right? So try it out, and we need to paste our game ID. Hold on. First of all, let's see if I think I may have lost all my games. So let's see if I have to create a new one. Yeah, okay, the games are empty. So let's create a new game. So create a game. You guys are going to be so happy because this is just about to work now. Ready for this?
I'm so excited.
All right, here we go. Here it is. Paste the game ID, execute. Nice. So now we have our game. We're now able to retrieve who's playing in the current game, the game code, as well as the game ID that's just echoed back, right? All right. All right, here we go. We're just about ready for this.
Oh.
I'm going to pause it before you launch here.
So,
so in order for you to execute the start the game, because we haven't created a command or a function to start the game yet.
Yeah.
Which is what you've done there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Setting the game ID to get your code. Okay, we haven't gotten that far yet, so I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna watch now.
No, I'm willing to answer this question. Yeah, I haven't actually thought that far ahead. But the answer to it is actually at a high level. The game state will tell our client what it should be doing. Okay, so right now the game state is strictly game ID, game code, and players, right? But eventually it's going to be more than this, yeah? When you request game information from the server, it's going to also return what the current state is. The reason why that's important is because the browser can be closed at any point in time, right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then let's say some user wants to open the tab up in some other computer, or they want to move to their phone, whatever it is. So when they do, they may be anywhere in the game at that point. They may be playing. It might be their turn, or they might just be in the lobby, right? We don't know where they are yet. The server does, though. The server always knows what's going on. So what's going to happen here is right now, we don't have any state beyond just this, but eventually we'll have, stuff like whose turn is it? What cards are currently visible? And depending on what we get back, you'll render different things, right? So if you get back that you're still in the lobby, for example. And that information is currently not present because there is only one state right now, which is that you've either created a game or you've joined a game, and that's it. That's the only state information, right? But eventually, once we have that, we'll be able to show either the lobby page, or you'll be able to take them to the actual game page and display the cards that they have or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in terms of the feedback loop, then how do we determine when the state is then uploaded and shared between all users, or in this case, just between the three of us?
So there's actually there's
no, sorry.
no, sorry. Continue your question. Say it one more time.
Yeah. So so when you say like the state, so okay, so you've entered the game, the state is now updated, you're now in the game, and until you leave the game or whatever, we haven't gotten to that part yet.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always be present in the game.
Yeah.
And then all the conditions you were talking about, like moving the windows or whatever, closing, reopening, joining. So that's the state. But is the server always like updating in that way, or like that's the way it operates, or is it like, is there something that you coded where it's like, okay, now update now, like every second or every millisecond or something like that?
Right. Okay. So there's a couple questions there. I'll unpack each one. So the first one is I guess the first question is, to what is the scope of the state information that we have, right?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is only the server will basically keep track of whose turn it is. Well, we have it in the README file. Like we've been keeping track of it as we go. So you can see the game state that we came up with on our own in the very early days of when we were thinking this stuff through, right? So we have who the players are, we have what the cards are, we have who the dealer is, we have whose turn it is, or sorry, what turn it is, whether it's the ante, flop, turn, or river, and all this information is here, right? This current game state that we're looking at here is the game state of currently playing, right? So the client is going to be really dumb, and the server is going to know everything. The client, all it will know how to do is render what the current state is. So we won't keep track of what the user is doing. What we will do is the client can go to any URL. Sorry, the client can go to any client can go to this one game URL, receive this one payload, and then it will know exactly what to render. And it's the only thing that it will do. It'll just quietly render this. And if it happens to be an in-game scenario, it's going to go to that 3D thing and render it in 3D for us. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
When we're in the lobby, though, we'll probably need something to tell us that we're still in the lobby and the game hasn't started yet. And so that might be turn. So like right now, turn 3 is the ante, and then there's the flop, then the turn, and the river. We might have an additional one here, which is not started yet. And in that state, we show the people currently waiting in the lobby for the game to start. Does that kind of answer the question? I think.
Yeah, like I think what you're saying is that because we understand how the game functions, and we already have determined what states in which this game should be uploading a new state, and now it's just about like hashing that out and writing, I guess developing those parts so that when people leave, join, or like when the game actually happens, that these states are now being uploaded when they happen.
Okay, yeah. So that's the second part of your question. So I can answer that too. So if you recall, in the early in a previous session, we did the WebSocket thing where we receive messages of a countdown from the server.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. So the client, not only will it receive the game state, it's also going to be watching for state updates via this WebSocket.
Right.
Yeah. And so that will trigger changes in the client when it receives these messages. Cool.
is WebSockets.
WebSockets. Well, yeah, we're almost there, I think. Almost. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Lobby. And yeah, game ID is here. So next thing to do is pull out our game code and display it. And the other thing that we're going to do while we're at it is also list all the users that have joined the game because we have that information. Yes?
Yay!
Yeah. Okay, let's go. So I think first of all, this can be const. Let's put a const there. I like consts. Consts.
What's const?
What is const? It's constant.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a I'm not very much of a JavaScript programmer. There's a bunch of different kinds of variables you can declare. The oldest one is called var, and then there's a let, and there's a const. So const doesn't change, whereas you can change a let. And then there's some weird differences between let and var. People shouldn't use var though. That's the gist of it. Just use const and let. What was that, Satch?
Var is too ancient.
Yeah, it also has very weird behavior that I don't want to go into because it confuses even me when I see it. Boo, JavaScript, boo, agree. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is pull data from the server by making a call. So let's see here. This is going to be similar to what we have in our existing home. We have all this stuff here. So a couple things that we can delete. We no longer need the game code in here because we're going to be retrieving it elsewhere. And let's see. But I'm going to leave this code alone for now. We don't actually need to change anything. So let's just leave that alone. But what we do need to do is, I think they call it use effect, if I remember correctly, use effect. And we do need the game code. So let's grab this bit of code here. Head over here. Use state. Okay. So the game code is going to get updated by our call to the server. And we'll also need a variable to keep track of the user. But I'm going to let you guys write the user. I will just do the game code. And then I think that will be a good point to end our stream. Actually, we can just get that far. List the users. I think that will be awesome if we get that far. Yeah. All right. All right. So let's delete this game code. Now to pull data from the server, we do this thing called use effect. And then that's nice. It did a bunch of things there for me. So the effect that we want to do is a fetch. So you recall we did some fetches before, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just copy because we never the rule for programming is never write from scratch. Exactly. Copy paste as much as you can. So we're gonna fetch from games. This actually looks perfect for me. I'm just gonna grab the whole thing.
Tasty steak.
Let's see. All right, let's paste that here.
Wait, wasn't I gonna execute something before you asked your question?
Was that?
Oh, well, he had already executed it. He ran. What he did, he took the game ID and put it into that little prompt in the fast API, and then it produced the game code. So what
All right, so check this out, you guys. This is the bit, right? So we're gonna be retrieving. Oh, this method needs to be get, and there's no body. Auth token is correct though. Okay.
So what is? Oh, sorry.
No. What's up? What is it, Richard?
So when you say method get there, what does that mean? Like when you changed it?
Ah, yeah. So the method. No, this is a tough question. It's a good question. It's a good question. So HTTP is a very old protocol. It comes from a long, long time ago. And when it was invented, they had a bunch of ideas behind it. They're good ideas. But basically, when you make a request to a server, there's different methods that you can use when you request things from the server. And they have specific meanings, or they have specific behaviors that clients understand will have when you make those requests against the server. Specifically, a GET request will not have any side effects. Like, it's always safe to make a GET request. You can make a GET request, retrieve some information. It's not going to change anything on the server. Anything else might change something on the server. And it's useful to have these distinctions because you don't want to accidentally reload a page and then that inserts another record for you, right? Or in this case here, you don't want to accidentally refresh a page and it creates an additional game for you. And so we distinguish between them. The browser actually will, if it's going to refresh a page and that refresh will require a post, it will often say, this page was a post. Are you sure you want to refresh it? It might cause changes on the server. You might have seen that on some older pages that haven't updated. So it's kind of a little safety mechanism, but it's also useful when you're building APIs to like think through which methods you want to use. So in our case, we're using GET whenever we're retrieving any data that's not going to change anything on the server. And then we use POST when we're going to create something on the server. And then I started using patch for when we want to change something on the server. So creating a game is POST. Modifying the game, in this case, joining a game, which is kind of like modifying an existing game, is a patch. And so those are the three methods we're currently using.
Whoa. That like entire explanation requires a YouTube video. But it's good. It's because like I think what it shows is that there was foresight about like, okay, well, there's going to be a point in time where you have to make sure the logic represents a live game, not like just an instant, like a snapshot of a game. So that's cool.
Yeah, no problem. For the record, there's a lot of things I don't tell you guys about that I just do because, the truth is if we actually sat down and went through the reasons why we do everything, the poker game never gets done. You'll learn a lot, though. There's no doubt about that. You'll learn a lot. But here they are, by the way. Check it out. You have a GET here. You have a patch here. You have a POST. So GET for listing games because it doesn't modify the game. Patch because you're modifying the game by joining it. And POST for creating the game. And just so you know, like, I may have used the wrong ones here. This one might have been, there's another one called put, and I always mix up patch and put. But it's okay. It's okay. No one. I think
the YouTube video.
I think the word patch is sounds more like modify, and put does not sound like modify. So we'll go with what English says is true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we are. So we get the game. Where was I? So games, game ID, retrieves the game ID. Yeah. So head back over to here. So we're making a GET request to API/games/the game ID. So we're going to have to interpolate the game ID into this fetch request. So that's like this, $, curly braces, game ID. Yeah? So this is going to make the request to that endpoint we made. Making a GET. We're ensuring that we're passing in our auth token, which allows the server to tell who is making the request. And we get back a payload from the response. This all looks just fine, to be honest with you. We don't need a cleanup function.
And why is that?
Because let's skip that question. It's not important. Because we didn't create anything that needs cleaning up, but also because like that was generated code, so it's just gonna confuse people. We don't need to know things. But we do have an input. The input is game ID. So we want the game ID is never going to change, but for the purposes of ensuring that this stuff works, even if it does change, we are going to make game ID a dependency of this effect. And last but not least, we're doing this good stuff. We're going to say set game code to the payloads game code. I believe, did I spell? Let's double check I did that right. Nope, game underscore code. Game underscore code. Okay. All right. Save. Oh, broke stuff. Unexpected reserved word await. That's because this function needs to be marked async. And use effect is not defined. Need to import that. Uh-oh, that didn't do use effect. Okay. Auth is not defined. Auth is not defined. Right, so we need to grab the auth. I believe we have some auth right here. Here's some auth. Let's grab the auth, huh?
Give us the
Auth.
Give us the auth spark.
And hey, it worked there. Check it out, you guys. Do you see it working?
Roland's at it again.
Yeah. All right, now for you, but just for you, Rickles, I'm dropping the game ID. Done.
Drop it in there.
I mean, remove it. So now check it out. We can refresh this page, and it makes the request to the server, reloads the game state. Now I'm going to show you some real magic, some important magic. We're just going to console.log the payload, because now it's your turn. You're going to write some code.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
Write it, Rich. Write it.
Oh, is it going to be Rickles or is it going to be Satch?
It should be Rickles.
Okay, it's going to be Rickles. All right, Rickles, I'm giving you a really hard one to do.
Oh god.
Because I haven't taught you how to do it. Oh boy. I actually don't. I'm just realizing I don't even know how to do it. So, good luck.
This piece here was for me was like, for some reason, like when I saw you typing it, I was like, okay, this is inside this, and then this is inside this.
It's literally a math problem, but
And this comes
that's
after.
it. It's
So-
complete.
I don't even know what this is connected to.
I see. Okay, well, let
Oh
me
wait, this is. Okay, sorry, go on.
let me do my best to help you. Okay, so we just pulled out a single thing from the game code, right? Roal, right? ROAL.
Mhm.
And what I'm asking you to do is pull out a sequence of things from players, because you can see that the player name is here, Shad, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So what we need to do, and this stuff is all in the payload. I did this console log on line 20 for you so that you can see what the payload looks like. It looks like this. So you should be able to say payload square brackets quotes players to pull out the players. Make sense?
So that's the payload.
This object that you're seeing in my console here is the payload. And it has 3 keys in it: game ID, game code, and players. Okay? Now, in order to get to the players, we need to extract it and store it into a variable. So, first step is you need one of these use states. So why don't you start with that? You can create a use state, and you'll just put the players in it.
How do I start that?
Oh, you know what? I think we can actually simplify this code a little bit. Let's do a slight simplification, yeah? Here's the simplification. What we'll do is, instead of storing all these things separately, we can just store them as one game state. So we'll just call it game state. Yeah? this will make things slightly simpler. So game state is going to be a dictionary now. And our game code, and so this is now going to depend, so now we're going to do set game state to, and then here we just set the whole payload as the game state. Make sense?
Full payload is the game state, and then the game state goes into this dictionary right here. And so now we're trying to pull. I'm gonna do a newbie thing and say we're trying to pull the string of your username. That's the goal right now.
Correct. Yes.
And then add it to list. Eventually.
So check out line 30. I just fixed that bit up for you. So the game state contains a thing called game code. And if you save that, oh, I broke it. Maybe I'm not allowed to do what I just did. I could have sworn that would have worked though. Oh, of course it does work. I just need to use underscore.
Oh yeah, the underscore.
Yeah, underscores. Okay. Let me okay. Are you ready to try?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So here's the hint. You want to write your code here. In the same way that I pulled out the game code, try to pull out the players.
Okay. Ay, caramba. Google Chrome save me, please. Oh wait, I don't have your. Can you pull up your console again? Oh wait, there it is.
Yeah. I have it open for you. I got you. Okay.
Okay, save.
Yeah, go ahead, save. I'm all on board.
You're doing wonderful.
Okay, I think I did it. I saved it.
And it broke? Okay, it broke. It broke. So I know why. I know why it broke. I'll help you fix it. The reason why it broke is that React doesn't know how to deal with this object type. So let me show you what that object looks like. Console.log. Paste that. So see what we're getting back? We need to pull out these keys. So right now you've got a dictionary, and the dictionary has name and the user ID. Now, it's bad that we're actually even passing the user ID back, because this is supposed to be sort of secret. But for the purposes of this puzzle, we're going to keep it. And we're going to try and find a way to pull out the user's ID here.
Is there a command for only letters and ignoring numbers and symbols?
Yeah, there is a thing for that. But what you actually want to search for here is how to pull out the keys for this dictionary, or whatever it is in JavaScript, object, I guess. So let's do a Google search together. JavaScript get keys of object. Oh, object.keys. We could try this. Yeah.
Further simplifying. That's great. That's nice stuff.
So try this out here. So what we need to try this object.keys on the game state players, and let's see if it works.
So on the whole
You can leave that one alone for now. Do it on line 25, where we did the console log, so that you can, because there's going to be more problems with line 32.
Oops. Calm house, please. Object dot. So, and are we replacing object with the name of the
With
like with
with this piece.
oh, so here as well?
No. Just pass as an argument to object.keys this object.
Okay. So I don't have a mouse.
You don't have a mouse?
He's using a trackpad.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, you don't have a mouse.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have a surface for it.
Okay. Save that up. Let's see. All right. What did it do? What did it do?
1, 2, 1, 2. I'm reverting to counting my parentheses.
Always close your parentheses, Rich.
Unless that's
Um,
in which case. no.
okay, so that didn't work. Can't. Hold on. Let me help you debug a little, because it's not working the way we want it to. So we may want to do a thing where we say if game state players, only then can you do this. I'm seeing some null errors, so I was thinking maybe that might help fix it. Okay, let's see. Okay. Ah, you achieved a thing. Did you see?
Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah.
So, object key, it is a command in which it removes a key from a string, your string.
So it's extracting all the keys from the object. So right now it's just shad. If someone else were to join, then this list we would now have more than one key. Maybe one. Well, before we do that, we're almost there. So now all we need to do is make a list of the users, right? So there's a nice way to do that with HTML. I'm going to help you, because that's what I should do at this point. Help?
Help,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, so list items. There's a number of ways that we could actually do this. We can do it with plain HTML, or we could use some other kinds of lists. But let's just do this simple thing like this: an unordered HTML list. Sound good?
Okay.
So here's what we'll do: unordered list, like this.
UL.
Okay. Now here's the key. For every player that's in this game state players, we need to essentially like make a list item for them. Make sense?
Mhm.
So I'm going to use the code that you figured out, and here's how I use it. I say const players is equal to your beautiful thing here, right?
Okay.
And here's a little trick. If this thing doesn't exist yet, actually this might not work. But basically I want it to be an empty list if it doesn't work. Okay, here's what we'll do. Let players is equal to this empty array. And if we have some game state available, then we'll say players equals this stuff. Oops. Okay. Now, let's do this. Console.log the players. Okay, so this is just a mostly your code. Got it?
Mhm.
And we're just going to change that now to players. Go ahead. You do that.
Oops. My wood.
All right, save it. Save it. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at what you achieved.
Whoa!
Okay.
Oh man.
I'm totally joining this game right now.
I want
Okay.
to join it.
Yeah, y'all join the game. Let's see.
I want to join it. Oh my god, I'm so excited. It worked for me, except players is Shad Sachi one word.
Yep. And it looks like there's a problem.
Yeah, I'm the third player is not showing up.
Third player's not showing up?
Yeah, I'll show you my screen. It's just the game code is blank and players blank.
Okay. Let me pull up your screen actually. Oh, hold on. Let me see what current games. So let's take a look at the games currently in session. It doesn't look like you managed to join. Rickles.
Did you do the top one?
Yeah.
Okay. But before we get there, right now we also need to fix this bug. So I'm gonna help you guys with this piece. So what we need is to create a separate list item for every player, right? You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, I don't know how to teach this very well, but basically we need to hop into JavaScript for a sec so that we can construct this thing. We need to say players dot, what is it? Map? I think it's map. We need to map, and then we need to pass a function, and the function takes as an argument player, and it renders a list item like this. Wait. It renders a list item like this. And inside this list item, we have the actual player like this. Save. Check it out.
Oh.
And now we don't need this H3 anymore. We could instead, or actually let's keep the H3. My computer's running kind of slow. I think the stream is causing, I think my computer's really hot. Yeah, poor computer.
Well, computer.
All right, so there's players as an H3. Yeah, it's not very nice. I don't know why it's not nice. Okay, but there it is. Oh, here's the dots. The dots are way over here for some reason. Yeah, we'll need some UI treatment to make this look nicer. I think one way we can make it nicer right away is instead of list item, we can use a div instead. I think a div might be better here. Let's try a div. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay.
Much better.
Yeah. Darkmon, why are you not able to join the game?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
What did you do wrong?
Let's take a look together. You know, I can look at Fasting Guy and see if you say I don't exist in there.
You didn't successfully join. Try show me your screen. Try to join.
This one's for the stream. This one's for the stream.
Okay, I see something wrong. Oh, I see the problem. Remove lobby. You need to go to the home page. So just remove lobby. Okay, go there. Nope, just slash. Just slash. I'm not actually sure that it matters, but that is different from what I did. All right. Oh, I see the bug. So you typed role all common case, but I'm pretty sure we don't make sure that the case matters. Also, we did a bad thing where we allowed an undefined to go through. So that's a bug we also need to fix.
Oh, we need a 404.
We need a 404. Why don't we fix the 404? Well, we'll fix the 404 shortly. Okay, join game.
Ta-da!
It worked when you did capitals.
It is me, Sir Troubleshoot. I have entered the game.
You did it. All right.
Yay.
Okay, let's fix the bug, yeah? Let's fix the bug.
Game lobby. Awesome.
So, in our main, if you try to join a game where... Oh. Actually, I think it did work. Okay, the back end is actually working. It's the front end that didn't treat the 404 correctly. Because check it out. Line 69 and 70 here. We do check. If the game doesn't exist, do a 404. So open up your... Go back, Richard?
Yeah.
Okay, and open up your the terminal for the... Yes. Okay. Now try to join with that invalid code. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Oh yeah, this game not found, but it doesn't show the page because we didn't define a page.
Well, the reason why this happened is because we got the 404 there. You see it right above you?
Yeah.
Above that. Right above that.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the 404. So that 404 was sent back when you tried to join the game. And we need to present the user with an error saying game not found. I mean, we're even getting what message we should send the user, right? In the payload response.
Right, yeah, this is the payload here, right?
So, we're out of time, and I promised Niwako that I would go and make her some curry, so I got to go do that. But
making her.
But I'm prepared to give you some homework if you're willing to give this a try.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, let me show you what you need to know. This is a nice front end only thing. So I keep resizing this window. I don't know why I'm doing that. New window. All right, follow along. Here we go. So there's a thing called a toast. I think it's, Material UI probably has a different name for it. But basically, it's like a little status information. When an error occurs, we need to capture that error and show the error instead of doing the wrong thing, which is what it's currently doing. So I'm going to point out everything you need to know, and then that'll be your homework. So if you go to Material and pull up here... Oh, what's going on? Oh, page has changed.
Material UI looks different.
They have... Oh, why? Material... Oh, just show me the components, please. Docs.
Well, I'm on a more basic page.
Okay, I found it. I found the components. Okay. So on the components page here, we have a... where is it? Feedback. Here it is. Feedback. And there's a bunch of things here. Snack bar. I love snack bars. You want to see a snack bar?
Yeah, show us.
Snack bar. It's like General Akbar, but very snacky.
Nice reference.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry if I'm making jokes that bad.
I mean, your Google's already telling you to look up best curry powder.
So did you see it happen here? So you click Open Success Snack Bar.
Oh.
And then there's an error snack bar. And here's how you use it. You can just grab a snack bar, and it has all this stuff, right? So your goal is to get one of these snack bars, one of these general act bars into the code, yeah? Okay. And now let me show you where you want it, where you want to put it. Okay, so here's home. Here's where the fetch occurs, right? So we say create or join game. So your bug is with the join game. So what's going to happen is you make a fetch to API games, and the response object will be 404. You should be able to do something like response dot status. Here it is. So what you want to do is if you want to check if this response status is equal to 404, then general Akbar.
Snack bar.
Got it?
And so the errors are already defined within JavaScript.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's not defined in JavaScript. It's defined as part of the. We are returning a 404 from the API, so this is populated by the API for us.
Okay.
So we should be able to say console.log general snack bar. I love it. Should we? You want to try it out?
There's a calamari joke in this, but I can't figure it out.
So Rickles, try to log in. You should see a general snack bar here.
They. Oh, here, I'll show us.
There it is. See it?
Where was it?
Wait, was it there?
In the console, general snack bar.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, I'm not doing the code for you. I'm showing you I'm showing you where to put your code. That's why nothing works. So right where you see the console.log for general snack bar, that's where you're going to put an error snack bar saying that that the game doesn't exist, and then you need to prevent. So like notice what's happening there right after line 48. I do the history push. So instead of history push there, you'll want to return on line 48. You'll want to return there, right? That will prevent you from navigating to the game lobby. Does that make sense?
Right.
So that's how you cancel it. So like, because down here is where we push the game, push you to the game lobby. If you return here instead, then you print the error message and prevent the user from moving on to the game lobby because they got a 404. You got it?
Right.
All right. All right. That's the homework. Oh, it's a nice bit of homework too because it's straightforward, I think. Yeah. It's not that straightforward actually. I'm thinking about it now. But
So in terms of the snack bar, it's not only the snack bar popping. Would you push someone to like a 404 page as well, or are we only looking to have just the snack bar?
Just the snack bar. So they try to join the game, and then they get a snack bar saying game doesn't exist, and then they can try and fix the code, and then join again. Does that make sense?
Right. So you're staying on the home page.
Yes, and all of your data will be the same too. Like it won't clear the page or anything. All your existing name and stuff that you filled in will continue to be there.
Ooh, okay. I think that's maybe interesting. Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, those requirements those requirements are such that you don't need to make any changes for that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that's great for today, but I think this is our last poker session before we switch back, yeah? to.
Turtle.
Is it our last one?
I think so, unless you want to keep doing this some more.
Is this a good spot to pause for the project?
I think the nicest place to stop would be when we finish the lobby.
I think we should finish the lobby then.
Okay.
How many more sessions do you think until the lobby's finished?
It actually depends. We're close to getting to a minimum viable product version of the lobby. But if you guys want to add chat, or you want to add, or you want to make it so that we click the so that there's a timeout and then you move into the game after the timeout, or we have a joint start game button or something like that, there's going to be some, depending on what we want to build there. We're just a few steps away from everybody being in a lobby, but then you need to do something with all the people in the lobby.
Right.
Okay.
Quality of life.
So
Interaction.
we can stop after the minimum viable product, the lobby.
I guess what I mean by all that is we need a definition for what is the end of the lobby and what is the beginning of the game, because it can easily be more. If we have, why don't we say that once everybody has joined the lobby, there is I guess we need to figure out the mechanics, right? If there's 4 people in the lobby, how does everyone indicate start the game with this set of people? Right? Do we make the host do it? Is it by vote? Is it by unanimous vote? When everyone says start game, then the game starts with that number of people? I mean, that makes sense. We could do it that way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Start with the number of people. I mean, I think in an ideal, because I'm thinking this poker game works best in pick-up situations, just based on how quickly people are able to join games. That even if a game is started, and someone could join later.
While the game is happening.
Yeah, while the game is occurring.
So people can't join a poker game in the middle of a game, right?
Well, traditionally.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be. People, once you start the game code will stop being valid.
As a game. Once it starts, that's.
But what about if you end a game and start a new poker game? Because
then you'll get a new game ID and a new game code.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just like that in Vegas or whatever.
Okay.
People hop in and hop out and stuff, right?
Okay, so we'll make it so that you need to put your entire. We'll make it so that you need unanimous. Thingy.
The party to vote on.
So once you've entered the lobby, you can say start game, and when everybody has clicked start game, the game starts immediately. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good. Okay, so the MVP will be that. We'll get up to the point where everybody clicks start game, and then it takes you to the 3D world of poker.
Whoa.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Nice stream. It was fun.
Nice stream, Dan. Thank you so much for helping us.
Oh, thank you for making my stream fun. Thanks, Charlie, for joining.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, thanks, Mint, for joining.
And
Thanks,
Mom,
Mint.
I know you're there somewhere.
Mom? I don't see Mom. Oh, but we have 4 viewers. Well, you guys are one of them, I guess.
I'm 1, Rich is 1.
Yeah.
Are you 1, Dan?
Am I 1? I don't know. No, I guess I am 1. I don't know. Technically? Okay.
I don't know if you count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta go. Need to make.
Alright.
Need to make.
Bye,
Have a good dinner.
Bye.